Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Traders Lab. I'm your host, Tom B. Thanks for visiting on Monday. Can I please get a screen and audio check in YouTube and the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community? Thanks, Dad. And how we doing in YouTube? Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Traders Lab. I'm your host, Tom B. Thanks for visiting on Monday. Can I please get a screen and audio check? Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Traders Lab. I'm your host, Tom B. Thanks for stopping by. I stream live Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This stream is about integrating Bookmap order flow tools with auction market theory. Using the volume profile as a chassis in the intraday developing time frame. What it does is it demonstrates how to organize market-generated information, which is, in other words, participant behavior, and then based on having a structured trade plan and structured trades that are available to everyone at no cost in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community, the potential to create a trade plan that has a statistical edge. Business of trading, in case you haven't noticed, is in an uncertain random environment. What is not uncertain are the statistical probabilities of specific structured trades if you do the work and vet these trades so you know you have an edge when the trade shows up in alignment with the current developing condition of the market. And like everything, the outcome of any trade is always random. But when you're in a random environment and it's always uncertain at every moment, how do you navigate that when it's completely counterintuitive to our human nature, if you will, and our wiring to avoid risk and uncertainty? So in trading, we embrace uncertainty when our nature is to run the other way. What a conflict that creates. So how might you get control of these strong emotions? That's what the Trader Lab is. The Trader Lab is a community of like-minded traders who come together, and it's a serious environment for those who are looking to build out the business side of trading. You can always play a video game, you can always gamble, and whether you do it in the trading environment or you go to casino, that's all fine. It's great entertainment. Be sure to get the cocktails and a ticket to the buffet. In the business of trading, though, we use a trading model that is overlaid on gaming model. Same business as casinos, except we don't give the cocktails. I think we take the cocktails, but that's besides the point. So if you're interested in the business, that's the basis of the Trader Lab, and there's a link in the bottom of YouTube. If you're interested in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community, then of course there's no cost, and you're all welcome for that. Now, Lee, if YouTube is clippy for you, do a restart or reconnect with the stream. If anybody else has that, let me know, and we'll go from there. Now, the stream, since it is gaming processed, is based on statistics, and you guys have to vet all statistics you hear, whether here or anyplace else. So let's take a look at the market. But first of all, I got to take care of business. Look at that. Who's that? General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice or recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please remember, this is not a trade calling room. This is for educational purposes only. What I do in this stream is to help traders understand how the market works, how you can define it, stay in alignment, and then if I get into real time, I go there. If you want to see real-time narration, there's a library of webinars. It's available to everyone in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community, some up to 5 hours long of real-time narration. If you want to see real-time, come to the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab. But if you don't understand market development, how it works, how you can get in alignment, then this is entertainment and not education. So based on that, let's see if we can get going here. Now, I start at the RTH Open. I start with metrics, and there's one other thing I got to mention before I forget it. The MBO bundle, there's 50% off the first month. What is the MBO bundle? It is stops, icebergs, algo suite, much more, and it's a high-tier tool that can be added on. And if you have either the global or the global plus, and don't quote me on this, you can go to bookmap.com, see what the requirements are to even be able to access this. But this should be something, if you haven't tried it, 50% off. I like sales. I don't know about you. One other piece, if you visit the Bookmap Discard Trader Lab community, there are 60 PDFs of these trades that you're going to see me discussing. This is a live trade I took. There's 60 of these, and you can reverse engineer the structured trades and also come to Trader Lab and find out much more. How about that? Okay, statistics. Grab your pen and paper. Now, we are opening inside of yesterday's range, so let's look at what that means. Yesterday's high, I believe, is right here. We have the RTH open, so we're opening inside of the previous day's range. We have the ETH mid. Now, statistics. Grab your pen and paper. Past performance not indicative of future results. You got to vet these for yourself, anywhere, from anybody. So, the overnight mid has a 72% probability of getting checked. The micro composite volume point of control, and I don't have time to go over all this today, but you can find all this in Trader Lab. This is the RTH highest volume. So if you consider where we've been recently in a consolidation, this is where the high volume was. Now, volume profile, the thing about volume is, when you shop in the store, high volume is basically where most of the business is. Buyers and sellers agree on a price. You buy your can of tuna, it's $1. You pay $1, they sell it for $1. High volume. Now, in multiple time frames or fractals, I don't use time, this process takes place everywhere. So the rotations in the market are trying to find what's too high, what's too low, and what's fair. Now, let's take it to another time frame as you think of it. The ETH, or overnight volume point of control, the highest volume price in the ETH. Now, what's the problem of getting there? The problem of getting there, 82% probability. So that becomes a potential target. Now, what else do you say? The ETH high, which was here, has a 69% probability of getting tagged during the RTH session. Taking out the first hour's high has a 67% probability of getting taken out. One more. And I think I said first hour's high, 67% probability. And taking out the previous high or low, almost an 82% probability. And where's that, you ask? Previous high is right up there. So what does that say? If you're in Trader Lab, and remember, will the market do any of this? How will the market do any of this? Let's use the term clueless, not ignorant. So in the Trader Lab, subject to your individual vetted trade plan, your objective would be to try to get long because the probabilities suggest testing the yesterday's high, 82% probability. Are you guys tracking? Core, what is the free Bookmap thing? I don't go to bookmap.com. You'll see everything there, all the options, pricing, and there is a digital version that you can download. It comes with data, and I think it's crypto. Don't quote me on that, but go to bookmap.com, read all about it, and then you can determine what might be best for you. And I think, there's always opportunities, I think, but I think right now the digital version. And but again, I don't know. So go take a look, bookmap.com, take a look at the different options for subscriptions, pricing. You can try it, I believe, on a month-to-month basis, get your toe in the water, see what happens. So RTH open, Based on the statistics, what do we know? We know ETH high, and what else do we know? We know yesterday's high are high probabilities. So those are the highest probabilities starting out. However, and there's always a catch, right? When we open, we don't know initially who's going to take control. So it's not about rushing in. It's about having a structured trade. So let's take a look. So RTH open is 8:30 my time, Central Time. Let me make an adjustment to something here. One moment. Okay. So let's take a look here. Whoa. Now you notice with Bookmap how I can open it up and see inside. So now I'm going to show you something advanced. And the fact it's advanced is not material. These are just tools. A tool does not stand in a vacuum. You have to have a sense of the condition of the market. What was the condition of the market? What happened on Friday? Did the market sell off? And write this down. Let's think concept. And this is very important. The market goes up. Write this down. The market goes up to go down. The market goes down to go up. Now, it probably sounds rather trite. But why is that? The market rotates, and whether it's in a 4-point range or a 40-point range, the market behavior or mechanics are generic. Very important to understand that. So as intraday traders, we can have on the daily time frame RTH, this behavior takes place, and even in short-term rotations, it's the same behavior. Rotates down, then rotates back up, and it goes across itself. Why does this happen? Number one, it's an auction. So what's too high, what's too low? And the other part of it is the opposite side has their stops counter to the current direction of the rotation. And rotations are just generic ranges. And then, of course, part of the joy is figuring out, where do you interact? What's the range? What are the structures? Separate topic, but you can learn all this in TraderLab. So the market went down on Friday, and now we have what? We open higher. The shorts then become buyers. Is this logical? By the way, if this is making some sense to you or you like what you hear in YouTube, give a thumb up. By the way, I also want to mention there's something special going on right now in the Bookmap server called, it's a 12 trading hints, like 12 gifts by professional traders. It's available to everyone in the Bookmap Discord server. You guys can access that if you're visiting in YouTube. A link will be posted there for you guys if you want to take a peek. You do have to kind of register to get in there, but there's no obligation. You won't be solicited. There's no cost. Also, you can come in through the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab link down at the bottom. And again, no solicitation, no cost, not now, never. And you have access to all the Discord server education. Stocks, options, crypto, of course, order flow with the high tier tool, algorithmic behavior, market maker behavior. It's Monday. So got to get the mouth working again and the voice. Okay, so RTH open. This yellow line is our developing retail price. Now we're in here 1 second. So don't expect much out of this in 1 second because I blink and it probably takes a second, right? So let's look right here at the open. Now we're in 2 seconds. We see a buy sweep. Now often when we see sweeps, and again, when I use the term often, it means maybe. So in trading, we're looking for maybe. And then if it's maybe, then what? It's if this, then that. If not, then what? Buy sweep, often we get the opposite move. So we see a buy sweep and a move down. So right here, either we're going to zero or we might find buyers. And right here, I don't have anything. I'm just looking at it because I can't react in a second. Wish I could, not me. So now what? More buy sweep. So I'm still thinking, well, I got buy sweeps here, went down, came up, more buy sweeps. looking for a downside rotation. Now, I cannot tell what it will do. Not my job or my skill. I can't predict anything. All I'm seeing is buy sweeps, buy sweeps, buy sweeps. So it is rather confounding. So let's look. Market's going up. I have nothing to do here. I do know, and I'm thinking, oh, well, it got away. Why? High probability I'm going here. I did not get along because I can't operate here. But I'm seeing the sweeps, and I'm still seeing, in spite of the sweeps, it's going up. So that's confounding. So I'm kind of in a state of what is going on. So I don't know. I don't trade. I just go, well, that trade's out of the bag, except I didn't have a trade. I have a behavior and a statistic. So now I come up here, right here, and what do I see here? Resting liquidity in the book, 145. This is Bookmap Lite. What it does is it's going to filter out the algo. There's a bracketing algo in the primary contract, and we're now trading the March. We have rolled over, okay? And that is noisy. So we have a really neat tool in Bookmap that we can get rid of the noise, the bracketing algos. It's an algo filter, and see resting liquidity. So this is really cool. And with rhythmic data, which is MBO data, I can look all up and down the food chain and see where the resting liquidity might be, and then add filtering and other stuff to it to enhance what's important. So as we're coming up here at the time, it is showing that the highest liquidity, and right here, it shows there's one large player. And again, this is all part of the Bookmap suite, and this is part of Global Plus, I believe, that there's a large player has most of the liquidity sitting here. All this, I don't have time to explain all of this, but that's why we have no-cost education specifically on order flow and the elements in Bookmap that might give you insight and an edge. Now, I don't know what will happen when it comes up here. This is part of the joy of randomness. This guy could pull, open the hatch, and we go higher, but what does he do? He stays in the book. So when I come up here, right here, you see these green bubbles, and this is all adjustable. I don't want to see every buyer. I want to see what's important to me. So I look for less noise, and I interpret. So I see the market going up, and why is it going up? Well, buy stops are one reason. Don't forget the market's short. So I know there's going to be buyers on the way up, right? And what's over here? A selling iceberg, limit order. So I got buyers, notice 20 buyers, 20 sellers, right there. So now let's look over here. This is microstructure. I'm going to show you more of this stuff. But there's a buyer above the sweep, and here's my seller. So my sellers are here, but what's over here? These sellers got absorbed by this buyer. He's above the seller. We'll call it a he. Then these sellers are lower. I have buyers there, buyers there. Now I'm getting into advanced microprocesses. I'm mixing it here so you can see what you can learn in Trader Lab and how a high-tier order flow tool can give you additional insight. And again, like everything, it's not the magic 8-ball. But when you're in a competitive environment and you learn how to use tools, it may give you an edge over your competition. And again, I say may because you got to learn it. Trader Lab focuses on integrating these tools. I don't use indicators. I use information. It's very different. Buyers are here. Sellers are here. Microstructure is here. Break high. What does that say? Buyers are here. Buyers are here. Buyers are here. If I'm above these buyers and these sellers, buyer's still in control. Buyer in control. Buyer, 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 going to the moon. Liquidity, seller, buy stops. So here, what? There's the liquidity. What do I know? Sellers are here. And what do I know here? Buyer here, buyer here, buyer here, buyer here, buyer here, buyer here, buyer here. Going to the moon, Alice. Buyer here. Uh-oh. Break low. Now these buyers, it's too high. And right there I have micro high volume structure. I will leave this topic in a moment, but I'm giving you kind of a basis of understanding what's happening. This is a micro auction. The high volume inside of this micro consolidation is right there. Look at the range I can read. This is what an order flow tool can do. 48, call it here. 48 quarter, 48 half to 49. Is that close enough? 3 ticks, and I know right here is potentially too high. Let's watch. Can you do that with a candle? And what is too high? Let's look. Watch. Now, this is not a trade. This is that's nice to know, unless you've vetted it. Where did we go? ETH high. What was the probability? You wrote this down. I know you guys do this. I know you do it. 69% probability. Now, what do you do with this? How about nothing? Unless it's in your plan. How about I'm long? I'm out of Dodge. And let's look here at the real coup de grace. This is the developing volume point of control. This is now volume profile language. Remember the can of tuna? $1. And this is where the high volume is. Can of tuna, $1. What else do we know? This is the same process in a fractal. This is the high volume right here. Now, I think of this like shopping. It makes it simple, something you guys do every day. So why are we going to make this complicated, right? You shop. So if you're a shopper, this is in this store. Think of it like a store. Volume. Too high, too low. Volume, because that's where the high volume is. You can see it there. This is what the profile is showing me. Now, I don't know in this volume if we're going to go up or break down. Look at this volume. Am I going to go up or break down? We broke up. So north. What about here? Chop, chop. Am I going to break up or am I going to break down? As soon as I break down, that's too high. It's either a trade management opportunity here, get out of Dodge, in alignment with a high probability target, or, what? Trade plan. To where? Now, I'm going now up in a higher time frame as you think of it. Time is not an element. I don't use the clock. Has nothing to do with what happened right there. What creates this? Participant interaction. Are they going to look at their watches and say, Louis, we can't leave this area until 5 minutes goes by, 2 minutes, or I got a candle closing? Really? I don't think so. I think as soon as this interaction takes place, whether it's 2 ticks, 3 ticks, 30 seconds, 2 seconds, and I can read it, interpret it, that's actionable. And what else is actionable? Break low. I'm not paying that. Test. Buyers are here. As soon as this breaks down, it's an exit, or you're trailing your stop here where the buyers were, or you're trailing your stop here, trade plan specific, and you're out. If you were long, or subject to your plan, you're short to return here. It's called mean reversion, or you just have your helmet on and you're scratching your head like a lot of us do. Are you guys tracking? How we doing in Discord? I need a response just so I know that you're seeing the stream. Otherwise, I'm going to pause. Thank you. How we doing in YouTube? Hope you're still conscious over there. Every once in a while, I hear a thud, and I'm going, oh, come on. Somebody's chin hit the desk. Also, please be aware I am streaming from Costa Rica. Monkeys interfere with things here. Power goes out. Internet goes down. If I drop, I will absolutely come back in. And it may take a couple minutes. So whether you're in YouTube or visiting in the Discord Trader Lab, be aware and advised. Thank you. And don't forget to give me a like if you like this, if you're in YouTube. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. So this is microstructure. Trade management opportunity if you're long, or a short if you're a counter trend trader. Remember, we have yesterday's high over an 80% probability, which is somewhere up here, and that's all I know. Okay, now let's come back to our other statistics. Overnight mid, and by the way, I'm showing you statistics. I'm not showing you a prediction. 72% probability, and this is the highest volume, same retail price. So look at this. Isn't it neat? Too high in a little store down your street. Retail in the developing time frame, highest volume here. If this is too high, we can return here. If this is too high, we can explore down here and get through it and go lower or go higher or do anything. And the overnight volume point of control, which operates the same as this, the same as that, and the same as that, just fractals, 82%-ish probability. And you got to vet this for yourself. This is Trader Lab. Now, we can't predict, just like the casinos can't predict what's going to happen. Unfortunately, no prediction, no certainty. And most retail traders spend their lives trying to get certainty. More indicators, more time frames. And the reason they do it is they're not even conscious. They do it because of their wiring and the beliefs that they can achieve it, which they can't in a gaming environment, and also because of their wiring to avoid uncertainty and risk. So we go on the quest for the holy grail, the only indicator, the only time frame. Of course, if that's you, we've all done it. The problem with that is you're going to have winning trades. And you think, believe it or not, winning with a defective process will take you out of the business over time. The casinos don't operate that way. They also operate in the same environment we do, but they only play games to have a statistical edge. Why are they successful and retail traders on a statistical basis or have a huge failure rate? Ask yourself, write it down right now. Why do casinos succeed, pay to gamblers, give you the cocktails to the and the ticket to the buffet, and retail traders fail? What's the difference? Think about it. Because that's your answer. Then the other part of the answer is, where can I learn to build a trading business and operate in a random environment the same as the casinos do? That's the question. If you're interested in the answer, use the link in the bottom of YouTube, because that's where you'll find the answer. I'm not saying it'll work for you. What I'm saying is you might be working really hard and experiencing something I call Trader Groundhog Day. Why did the market rotate here? Let's look. Language. Too high, microstructure. I'm not paying that. I'm leaving. Come down to the retail price in the higher developing time frame. Retail. Oh, too low? Let's come back to this store. The sellers are here. This is too high. If you're in Trader Lab, what would this do for you? Test, structure, sellers in control, potential short, back to there. Now, I'm showing you structured trading. If this doesn't qualify because of the range, you don't have a trade. But imagine this process with an 8, 10, 12, 20-point range. Guess what? It's the same. The range is the variable. Market mechanics are the same. And by the way, what's right here? Sellers. What else is here? One other little piece, and I'm going to speed away from this little moment that you're looking at. What is this? What is this? What is that? And it could be there, right here, actually. Whoop, there. You see this right here? This is a micro distribution. I made a lot of this up because nobody was doing this. What do I know? You just plot along, observe phenomena, and go, why? My indicators, I used to depend on my indicators. I used them just like you. But I never understood why. Sure, I could look at an indicator and go, oh, it's an oscillator, which is really a moving average on steroids. Oh, it crossed over. Is that really why? No. This is why. This is the action of the auction of the participant behavior. That's why this happens, not because my MACD or my RSI or my Bollinger Band or my Keltner channel or my Fibonacci has nothing to do with it, in my opinion. At least my experience going on 45 years, both professionally and otherwise. So what you have here is what's called a consolidation and a seller's take control. If I come back, think support and resistance, and this is still too high because my sellers took over here, and now I get a new consolidation. Sellers are here, sellers are here, sellers are here. Where's my buyer? Hello? Now, this is retail. So what do I know here? Opening swing low. You cannot forget that. If you're in Trader Lab, you would know that. What do I know here? Retail. What do I know here? Micro retail. What do I know here? Boom. Two-sided trade. And right here, you don't know. What you do know is right at the opening swing low at the RTH open, there's going to be sell stops from this leg. You got these guys, shorts in here. If we don't take these guys out, we squeeze this leg. We come up here. Their stops are up here. If I don't take those guys out, then these guys are under the bus potentially, and then these guys. Let's watch. See the logic? This is the same process that's going on in the higher time frame. The market is short. So in the shorter term time frame, we're abusive. In the longer term time frame, we're looking for yesterday's high. Are you guys tracking? How are we doing in YouTube? Please get a like if you like this. And if you'd like something else, comment and let me know what else you would like to see in the stream. Real-time narration doesn't do you any good, so unless I get into real-time, I don't do it. I used to do it. There's 5-hour webinars in the Bookmap Discard Trader Lab library. You can see real-time narration till your eyeballs fall out. And believe me, when I was doing it, my eyeballs were falling out. But when you trade all day, that's kind of what you do. Microstructure. Here, see this? Auction, too high, too low. Volume, see the generic process. I'm not paying that. Let's leave. What's over here? Chop, chop, chop. Too high. I'm out of here. What's this? Chop, chop. Test. What did I test? Higher time frame retail price. I'm not paying that. Sellers. Buyers push here. What's too high? Here's my VWAP. Here's my mid. Here's my retail price. Guys, when I'm talking fractals, think Russian dolls. See? Here, here. Where do we come back? Is this interesting to you? Now, the thing about trading that you might find a little disquieting, if that's the right word, is trying to be predict and try to be right. A little bit of a conundrum because we seek it, but it doesn't exist. Oh, come on. I'm going to try to bear with a moment here. I'm trying to do something, and apparently life is not that simple. I think I got it pretty much in the right place, there or there, okay? So let's just look to the right. See the test? So we got the stops here. We came down. Now there's no clue. This could be a short right here, you know. This is a variable high volume node. I made these terms up. And this was rather nasty this morning, I will tell you. And a lot of traders will get chopped up. Me also. You think it doesn't happen? We got to get realistic, guys. Everybody takes stops. I'm not immune. I take them, and I'm glad to take them because I'm not interested in getting my loss limit. I'm interested in trying to get in alignment. This is too high. This is the new retail price. Variable high volume node. I'm going to label this one. Usually I'm doing a lot more labeling, but I'm just trying to do something a little different here so you guys can see components. Okay? Smart Sniper, are you in the Bookmap Discard Trader Lab community? If not, click the link in the bottom of YouTube. I think you can go a long way in developing your craft and understanding the business. So You asked me the question, that's what I would do. When I started trading, there was no information. We didn't have PCs, and we didn't even have we certainly didn't have an internet. So this is too low. When you cross over and you can't get below this, your micro high volume structure is here. So that's your support. Buyers were here. No clue, by the way. Buyers are here. This seller's under the bus. Cross here. Hold this. We're now in something called mean reversion. Mean reversion is now coming back to check here. Where's my stops? Right above here. Where's my resistance? Here. Now, two things. Keep going to the moon or rotate down again. No way to know. So if I'm taking a long, and this is maddening, I know this is resistance. If this is resistance, this is my microstructure. I extend here. My resistance is there. Now you're looking at this going, I can't trade that. I'm going to tell you, I don't want to trade this. But I can read it. But I can't get in alignment with it. See how it reacts at the resistance? Isn't that interesting? Pull back here. So this was a mess for me. I had a real hard time with this, and I just kind of throw my hands up and go, forget it. Support, resistance. This is support, variable high volume node. This is support, variable high volume node. I didn't mark it. Should be marking these for you, but I'm trying to move quickly. I'd like to get to real time. I just got bit by a mosquito. I think that's very rude. I'll tell you, the mosquitoes here have landing lights on them in Costa Rica. Resistance. The liquidity pulls, some of it trades. Notice the pulling liquidity. I don't have time for all of this, but I'm trying to throw a lot in the smorgasbord for you. And don't forget, we have a high probability of taking out the first hour's high, right? And we have a high probability, over 80%, of taking out yesterday's high, right? So do I want to lean long? Yes. Where's my resistance? Here. Chop, chop, chop. Let me just go back a little bit. No clue. Going to the moon, Alice. Where's my next target? Yesterday's high. 80% probability. Feels good, Lewis. Resistance. Okay. If you took a long down here or here, which is a variable high volume node, again, these are specific structured trades you can learn and trade a lot. And this is more advanced. This is not where you'd start. You don't need to be doing this. You could just be sitting here, and going, where's my trade? Your trade is the one that has a statistical edge that you vetted. You don't have that, you don't have a trade. Sorry, but that's it. Break high, microstructure here. Now, what do you want to see? You want to see it clear this volume and continue north. So let's look. Here's the volume. And what can it do? Break high, break low. What does it do here? The volume. Break high, test, test, break high. What's here? The volume. Break low. What's this? Where's the volume? Let me put a line here just to make it a little clearer. Now, I don't put these lines all over the place when I'm trading, but I want you to see how this works. If this is too high, call it resistance, and this is, the retail price, and I break above it, this becomes support. This is resistance. If I break above it, it becomes support. This is your support. If I get long in this, my stop needs to be here. My resistance is here. This is advanced auction mechanics. And if you're thinking your head is spinning, it is. And it's okay, because you got to learn this. Where's support? It's there. Where's resistance? There. What happens if I get through resistance, you ask? I move up. Where's my statistic? North. At 9:30 Central Time, which hasn't happened yet, this has a high probability. I think it's about 69%. Don't quote me. I don't have the time to look at the stats. And then we have yesterday's high, 80%. You see how this might work? So where's my support? Let's look. This is a stop sweep. So where's my resistance? It's there. And right here, I get a buying sweep. I'm looking for a reversal here. Right here. I'm sorry, a buying sweep, reversal down. Selling sweep, reversal up. Selling sweep. Looking for reversals up, not happening. Buying sweep. Looking for a reversal up, not happening. It's always opposite. So sell sweep up, buy sweep down. So that one's okay. So in TraderLab, if you were using sweeps, you know this is too high, you know this is support. Break support, you have microstructure here, break, you have, here's the high volume, let me show it to you. It's there. Right, these nodes are where this volume comes from. So you could see them in here and in there. You can see it. So once it's coming across the range, trailing stop, you get taken out wherever you have your stop. And this is nasty. And I was posting in TraderLab, we're in two-sided trade, and you want to hit yourself with that cast iron frying pan because how do you know? You don't. Hindsight's very clear. Everything else is mystery. So next statistic is here. 72%-ish probability, and this was your high volume in a intermediate time frame. No clue. What happens here? Microstructure. Let's put a little line on it. Don't know. Look at this. Going down, going down, going down, going down, going to zero, right? Change in behaviors right here. So right here, this right here is absorption. And you can't tell that they're absorbed until you get the opposite behavior. And this is pretty dynamic. I mean, where did you see buying like this on the way down? You didn't see it. Buyers are here, sellers are here. Why did it do this? Because there's passive participants here. The limit order book shows you the passive side. That's what it is. But you don't see them interact until you see the change. So you get a break over here and you see your buyers. That tells you this and alignment and no way to know, you know. Next high volume area is here. So what do I see here? Absorption, my sellers were here. Sell sweep is here. I was looking for a reversal. It can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to happen at all. So resistance is here, there. Going to zero, this becomes support. There's my resistance, and you're just doing what your thing, whatever it is. Break high. This says potentially to come back to the mean. And this is a specific plan and is very messy today called mean reversion. Where's the mean? It is, hold on, I'm going to open this up for you. A little too compressed so you can see this. At this time, the mean is here. Once we come outside, we can come back to the mean. And don't forget, the statistics favor the upside. At 9:30, we get the IB stat in play. It's the first hour's high or low. Considering we rejected the low, so there's about a 97% probability we take out either the first hour's high or low, and the probability of the first hour's high is about 68%. You got to vet this for yourself. So that's why the long side. And yesterday's high, about an 80-ish% probability we take out either yesterday's high or low, and given the that we opened higher in range, almost 82% probability for this. That's the trade. That's what we've been trying to do. And subject to your plan, now let's look here. Now, again, nobody knows. So let's not think anybody knows anything. And this is not a, quote, easy day to trade. Now, if it was, quote, easy for you, come to TraderLab, show me easy. So for me, it was a hard day. Just just not well, and it has nothing to do with a trader's skill as much as it has to do with a trade plan that has a statistical edge and then alignment. And there's going to be times, no matter what you do, and that's why we have losing days, we use protective stops. No matter what you do, the plan or the market behavior and the market behavior are not well aligned. Or by the time it gets into alignment, you either hit your loss limit or you're done, and you're not going to be able to recover. That's what, and this is the reality of trading. Casinos probably have losing days, but over a large sample size, they extract enough dollars from the gamblers to pay the gamblers and still net a profit. This is the business of trading. It's not anything more than that. It's really just edge. Edge shows up randomly, and outcomes are random. And some traders are going to be very profitable in a day like today because they have an edge in this type of day. Other traders are not. And that's what makes, this is the beauty of trading and also the randomness. So what happens here? Now, again, targeting is yesterday's high. So if you had a way into this, this is your scale or exit or one of your targets. But you see this bullet, there's really not a lot of opportunity to get in this because this is a two-sided trade. So if you're not trading well in this, unless you can execute in these micro structures, then you're just not going to have a great day. I wish I could tell you something more than that, but I can't. So let's look. Right here, microstructure, high of the day, I see what? A flat top, which is not a strong high at the moment, and I see the buyers. I see the buyers, and I have nothing here. So right here, my sellers take over, and my buyers come back to the volume. As far as I know, going to the moon. When I break low, that says the buyers have taken control. These guys were absorbed. Here, buyers, passive side, sellers below. Warning, what's up here? Nada, seller below. Passive sellers are here. No way to know. Sellers take control. So I have buyer, 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 sellers below. Buyers, buyers, micro consolidation, buyers going to the moon. Which way does it break? It breaks low. Now I have sellers, sellers, buyers trying here, sellers below the buyers, sellers up here, sellers up here. These buyers are under the bus. That buyer's under the bus. Selling trigger, potential short here, and your risk is to there or no trade. Watch. See it? This is how volume structure can be useful. Now, remember, the trend is up. So what happens here? VPOC migration. This is a part of a trading structure in the lab. Let's watch it. Two possibilities. You say, really? Yeah, really. Let's watch it. What was too high? Buyers are here. Now, right here, potential short. Stop goes above here, right? You guys know this if you're in TraderLab. VPOC migration. Very risky for the short now, because here's the possibilities. Up here to the moon, or this is resistance. So you might take your stop, right? Or come here. Notice the behavior. Resistance is here. Now support is here. And this is a very dominant support. It's higher volume. It's the volume for the whole day versus this, which is that. But I know my sellers are here. Liquidity comes back in the book. Let's look at it. And right here, my thought would be it's going to continue higher because of this. And instead, this is my resistance. This is my support. This is my resistance. I get my buyer here. My sellers are there. My sellers are there. And as far as I know, north. What happens? Break low. Now, watch. This is very contested. You know, I'd lose my breakfast on the desk here, and my keyboard would need to be replaced. Resistance, because if I'm trying to work in this, I still think we're going to potentially go higher. Oh, there you are. See? It's a hard trade. I'm looking at my locations here, and I got to tell you, it's not giving me good structure. Now at 9:30 Central Time, let's go take a look at the IB, because we have a IB trade here that comes in at 9:30. So let's look at that. So 9:30, remember there's about 69% probability we take out the first hour's high. So that's there, okay? Then we have another trade in here called the IB continuation trade. So we take it out, we perceive potentially the trend is up. So we were looking for longs. Now we're going to look for a long structure. Well, I have support here. I have support out here. This is the IB trade. So it's a pullback to the IB. So the way this trade might work, remember, sellers were absorbed here. That's one. There's microstructure, right? Here, let me show it to you. Now this is a structured trade, okay? Right here. So right here, the buyers, the sellers, the buyers are in control. You have micro high volume right here. I'm showing you a compound process. It's a bit advanced, but this is a structured trade. You'd learn this in Trader Life. This is a low volume node, outside edge. Let's not forget where that is. And what it represents is when you have consolidations, the high volume is like your retail price in the local store. When you fall away from it, you start a new auction. This is low volume node. As we're going up in time frame, I'm now looking over here. Remember, fractals. You think of time frames, I think of fractals. They're the same, except the clock doesn't rule this. This does. And I know this right here was potentially too low. My location. Now I need to look a little further. Where were the sellers trapped? Here. Buyers are here. Sellers took a shot here. Sorry, Charlie. Buyers are there. Buyers are there. Buyers are there. Break high. So I know this was too low. That's another location. And I have the IB continuation trades. Structured trade, you have to vet these. So right here, sellers absorbed. Potential long. Where's your resistance? It's up here. And then we're looking for out the top. If this is the long, where's your stop? Under this. See the line? Where did it come from? Here. See the resistance? There. You know the concept. Resistance becomes support, support, outside edge, IB test, IB continuation trade. Let's see what it does. You would test this. See it? Now you get this and you're looking for a continuation. You want to hit yourself with that frying pan again. Resistance, support, break low. This is how this works. Terrible day. You want to beat yourself. I'm telling you, I do. Very hard to trade this, guys. So, if you're in this, very hard. Okay, we're in real time. Questions. This is not one of those days that I can say, look how beautiful this is. This is one of those days where I said, why did I choose to be in a career of trading, right? Because it's hard. Today, some days, clear. Russ is asking me a question. Why aren't we getting to our targets today? Is it because of rollover? Russ, my answer is a little bit more generic. It's because it's always random. Rollover may have something to do with it, but and the volume really won't roll totally towards the end of the week. But this is still the participant behavior. I don't think that has never curtailed me from trading. We're still moving higher here. To me, the longs are the way to be oriented on this, and then trade management. A lot of the orientation is we're over the ETH high. We are now over yesterday's high, wherever that went. And what do we got up here? We have other targets up here. 66 is an extended target, which is not a recommendation. We also have, this is a target, which we're at. If we can clear here, then we have 61. I'm going to see if I can bring a higher time frame in here without making big trouble. By the way, when I do things like this, video card, and I'm on a laptop here. I mean, it's like this laptop could carry my luggage for me, but in the end, I'm carrying the laptop. This is a what's called microcomposite, and all it is a profile drawn over a distribution, as I define them. Now, you can include as much as or as little as you want. What I like to do is look at the most recent behavior, and it's an auction. What's too low and what's too high? So I'm bracketing the most recent behavior. So I'm including these days, okay? What this shows me is this orange line is what I call the microcomposite high volume node. It's right there, 35. This is like where the highest volume is. Right at the same place as the ETH mid. So that's a target. This is a target to come down and check this. Yesterday's high is here, Friday's high, and the market closed down. Remember at the top of the stream, market goes, and we tested this, remember? Too high, I'm not paying that. Market goes down to go up, squeeze this high out, and this was a target up here, got real close to it. If the market goes up, then the market goes down. And what does the market go down to do? To go up. And if the market goes up, where's the stops? Yesterday's high, Thursday's high, and then our target is here or there. 6160, 6165, 66-ish, and maybe out here, maybe not. Not our job. Write these down. Why? What does the market do? Buy stops are above this. What's under here? Sell stops are here. Shorts come in. Yesterday or Friday, I was looking for this. Ended up not doing it and turning around and taking the low out. C'est la guerre. Got short. Now what? The shorts? So this trade is pretty much what I was looking for on Friday. Not important. What I look for is just probabilities. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not in the prediction business. Believe me, if the casinos could predict something, they just deal the hands that they win and they'd skip the other ones, right? And we do the same thing with our trades. Yesterday's high, buy stops. Thursday's high, buy stops. What's above here? This. This is a target. Write it down. Not a recommendation. 62-ish, 61.75, then 63.50, and then 66. And that's not Rex, that's just maybe. Is everybody with me? This is how you integrate what you guys think of as time frames. And me, no time frames. Just auction. Because what creates the behavior? It's the participants. It's not the clock. It's not anything else. And based on what they did previously, as far as their perception of valuation, is what creates the behavior in the market. The other thing to understand about the market is, since it's an auction, if the market finds too high, wherever it is, it's going to leave it. It's an auction. Come down and try to find too low. If they find too low, then it's going to come back and look to find too high. Also, it'll come back potentially and check what was too high. And what was too high? This, the 66 target. So potentially we can come out here at some point, not necessarily today, maybe never. Our job, it's just to know that the last time we were up here, this was too expensive. And if you accept that maybe this is a shopping experience of, in other words, the buyers interacted with the sellers here, and then the buyers concluded that they didn't want to pay this price, so they left it. I'm not paying that. Get out of here. And then we chug down here, and then we come to an intermediate time frame price that now is too low. If this is too low, we can now come back and return to check this. This is how the auction works. Now, it doesn't have to do any of this. It can do pieces of it and do its thing. Remember how the market works. It trades over itself in all fractals and time frames. So when I'm showing you a higher time frame of how the market goes up to go down and goes down to go up, this is what's happening here. The market goes up to go down. It goes down to go up. All generic. Think Russian dolls. They're inside each other. Does this make sense, guys? Yeah, Greg, the fact the market doesn't go to any level is just part of the random. I'm getting a comment because the market didn't go to the next lower target. We had overnight mid, and then underneath that, we had, which is a target, this. This is the highest volume or retail from the last auction, which is the ETH. And Greg is saying he had a hard time getting long because this would be a logical place to check for too low. But we also checked this for too low, which is a higher time frame level. And the fact you didn't get long means you should not get long. The only way you should be getting long is if your trade is set and you need the overnight volume point of control, and if you don't get it, you don't trade. And that's the right thing to do. The only right or wrong, when I get a lot of traders, asking me, and traders reach out to me individually. They said, well, I could have done this, I could have done that. And I said, well, why? Well, because it did this and it didn't go there. I'm going to say, well, when did you know that? Well, hindsight. Okay, that's nice. What do you do about that? Well, I could have made 10 points. Okay. How do you get on that trade? Well, I could have got it here. I'm going to say, well, do you have a statistical edge or is that random? And they're going to say, well, yeah, but it works sometimes. I'm going to say, yeah, and sometimes it's not going to work. Here's the thing. Does it work more often than it doesn't? That's the real question. Not what it did last time or the last 3 times. Everybody has winning trades. If close your eyes, you'll have a winning trade, right? Gamblers win. Losing traders win. They just don't win enough. They lose more than they win. So why would you take that trade? And this is a generic answer. It's because of FOMO and of greed and motivation and all the things that we have, the dopamine fix. But those of us that are long-term traders don't take those trades because it's not our trade. We don't have an edge. Casinos don't make the games up. Gee, we're bored. Let's make a new game. Or, gee, we just paid somebody in the casino $100,000 in the blackjack table, and they walk out with a suitcase. And they even give them a nice little aluminum one, so it looks very nice. 100K, what does the casino do? Do they change the game? No, they just deal the next hand. And they're not making it up. That's why they're successful. What are we doing? If you're not doing that, then you're not, I think your longevity should be substantially in question. Hard to be disciplined, because of our human nature. If you get behind, you're thinking about getting it back. If you had 10-point open trade equity and you walk away with 4 or 6, and you say, I left 4 points on the trader, psychologically, you're going, I got to make that back. I had that. The voice in your head is, I call it Jekyll and Hyde. And Hyde's the lunatic that resides in our head. It's all hunter-gatherer type thing. Gee, I had that moose in the track or whatever it was, that rabbit in the snare, and it got away. I got to make up for that. All that noise is what will take you out of the business. It doesn't work in this business. So you got to really approach this like it's a unique environment that we're not accustomed to. And the things that we do in the outside world that maybe give us the opportunity to be successful, to tiptoe into this business, are absolutely not the same. And if you approach this like you do, other than motivation and persistence, with certain beliefs, you will not be successful, in my opinion, and based on the retail trader stats, in spite of your effort and the time you spend. Because persistence with a dysfunctional process doesn't get you success, it just gets you more of the same. That's why I agreed to do Trader Lab, because we're under an illusion that we know what we're doing when we're trying to make this something it isn't, which is called certain. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Please give a like if you're in YouTube. By the way, remember these streams are available exclusively to Bookmap, Discord, Trader Lab participants. There is no cost to be part of Trader Lab. And I also want to remind you, if you do subscribe to Bookmap and you haven't gotten the MBO bundle, there's 50% off the first month. That's a limited offer. So if you ever wanted to step up to having icebergs, stops, and other high-tier tools available to enhance your insight, I think that's pretty cool. What happened here at support? Absorption. That's why you see the buyers here. What happened to these guys under the bus? What's the current direction of the market? North. We are getting above yesterday's high. Now, the fact we're not getting acceleration here is a little disconcerting. And look at this. 1,000 are sitting here. You see this? This is the heat map. And this is showing us there's a passive seller here. Now, the thing about this is we don't know the intent. This is part of the joy of algorithms and market makers. Now, this up here may stay here or it may pull. And that you don't know. So, but we're aware of it. And so is everybody else who has a high tier tool who can see the limit order book. But because of the heat map, we can see, kind of what's around, where's the next resting liquidity. And I can make this as sensitive as I want. So I can see more up here or I can see less. You'll notice there's not right now a lot in the book. This is a target for us, but there isn't a lot sitting here. So you got to be looking at the book to see where the liquidity shows up. So right now, this is really a viable target for me, not a recommendation. This is how liquidity and Bookmap can help you. If you know this is sitting here, would that give you something to work with? So for me, if I'm holding longs, this is where I'm going ahead of this. Now, subject to what happens here, we have another structured advanced process in TraderLab. I'm going to tell you what it is. And these are not trade recommendations, but you can learn all of this. If the buyers absorb this here, and I get selling icebergs up here, which is probably what this is going to be, assuming they execute, I break above it. This is not a recommendation. I'm giving you a structured element that you can learn. It's not a recommendation because all trades go to Twinkie land. Then break high, test, maybe below, break above, potential continuation long. Not a recommendation, absolutely not. Or break high, break low, test, come back here. That's what I know. Let's watch. And post your questions in YouTube if you have them. And if you're in TraderLab, you guys know the drill. Okay, here's your absorption. Here's buy stops, 106, and this is your absorption detection right there. So they were absorbed, liquidity is gone. Now we want to watch the behavior right here. And remember, what do I have above me? Not a recommendation. Low volume outside edge, higher distribution, high volume up here, and potentially that. What else do I have? Stops. Where are the stops? Over Thursday's high. Where's Thursday's high? This is another potential target. You'd know this, 61.58. Nope. I think that's it. Yeah. So I'm looking for 58. I'm looking for 61 and change. This. This is TraderLab. Now, let's watch. What do we have? This is our break. Now we have a potential test, more absorption. This is your long. Stop would have to be under here, not a trade recommendation. Sometimes it comes down here and then up. So this is also a potential long. Let's watch. And again, this is advanced processes. This is not under here. Where's our last level? Microstructure is here. So let's watch. And it can do anything. Outside edge is here. Micro high volume is there. I'm in a fractals. This is like the electron microscope. This is micro resistance. If I can break above it and check it, I can push off. If I can't get right here above it, I can rotate here and under, and then we want to see what happens here. None of these are trade recommendations. This is narration. Let's watch together. Post your questions. How we doing in YouTube? Everybody conscious? Please give a like if you're getting something out of this. This is advanced. You can learn this in TraderLab. I'm not saying anybody should trade like this. Everybody figures out their fractal and time frame. There are some traders who are going to get a trade on way out here someplace and then go get in the Barca Lounger. I'm thinking of one specifically in TraderLab. I'm not going to mention names. Who takes a longer rotation and doesn't get hung up on this. There are other traders in TraderLab who will be looking to trade this to go to targets above. Which trader would you be? Do you know what the answer is? I can give you the answer. It's the trades and locations and behaviors you vet so you know whether or not you can actually operate in something like this. Because what's the goal? If you take a trade, you need to know locations of potential behavior. You need to get risk neutral. That's a minimum 2-lot configuration. You learned this in TraderLab. What's a 2-lot configuration? Why would you trade 2 in that one? Because the goal of the first contract is to buy your stop on the second one. So the worst that happens, assuming you have an edge, and we all take full stops, is that you get risk neutral and scratch. Psychologically, would that give you a better control over your fear if you knew the worst that can happen is you scratch the trade and your broker sends you a gift basket, versus all in, all out, where you're like, oh, it's great. No, it's wonderful. And that's all generated by emotional and hormonal things, fight, flight, and all that. So if we understand our psychology and our primal wiring, we could then take steps, and you'll learn this in TraderLab, how to get better control over that, even though you're going to take, doesn't matter what you do, we take stops because it's not about being right. It's about managing risk and depending on statistics over a large sample size of random distributions of outcome to extract the dollars from the other participants. Remember, this is now support, break high. This is very important what happens here. This is our microstructure. I'm going to put a little line here so you can see it. So this is the auction right here. This is your volume. This is your outside edge of the consolidation. This is the micro high volume here. This is support. This is resistance. I'm not going to trade this. What I'm going to do is narrate it. And I know this is material to potentially a location for a long. I know I can, this is my support. This is my level to observe. Let's just see what it does. And the market can do anything. This is my initial balance high. This is the last long we had in the TraderLab. You see what I'm saying? And nobody knows. It's just part of the thrill. The settings on my TraderMap Lite, I'm getting a question, are exactly the same as my settings on my primary contract. When I do rollover, I'm inheriting the settings from the previous chart. So everything's exactly the same. Now this is our location. We want to see what happens. So remember, this structure can have a test below, and then we want to see if the buyers come back in here. And this is advanced. This is not a trade recommendation. Everybody takes stops. If you don't want to take stops, you got to be in a different business. The casinos pay the gamblers. I'm sure they would like not to. But that's the only way you bring the gamblers to the table, is to pay them. Then if you have an edge, after you pay the gamblers, you extract in a random distribution the dollars from the gamblers. This is the business we're in. Let's come back, by the way, to the higher time frame. This is a structured long here, and it is not a recommendation. Remember what the market does. Market goes down to go up. Take the stops out. See it? Market goes to go up, then goes down to go up. This is too low. Buy stops are here to go up. Buy stops are here to go up. Micro composite low volume node. next target. See how it's all in alignment? Next target above there, high volume node, and then this is the coup de grace, 6166 quarter outside high volume structure. So in a way, the way this works is I just know possibilities. What else do the casinos know? Possibilities. It's possible. I get the buy stops here. They become buyers. It's possible. This is an outside edge of a distribution. This is a low volume node. What creates it? It's the same thing as what creates this node and this node. And what is it in here? It's the same thing as, by the way, there's our long, right? Right? Structured trade, a very advanced process. You would learn this in Trader Lab. And part of why you would take this trade, if it's vetted for you, is this. And what is that? Same as that. Same as that. Same as that. Outside edges of distributions. What's this in a higher time frame? Outside edge of a distribution. And you see how this all fits together? This is trade auction market theory, trading in fractals, as you guys think, multiple time frames. You see? Is everybody tracking? By the way, if you are interested in coaching and mentoring, that's available in the Bookmap Discard Trader Lab community. Also, there's the Bookmap Academy, where you could bring your trades and get comments from other professional traders, kind of like, hey, what's good? Think of doing this, think of doing that. Also, there's a lot going on, and there's no cost for this. And of course, all the additional education, stocks, options, crypto, order flow with a high tier tool like Bookmap. Can you gain an edge over other traders? This is why we use tools like this. Why? Now, this is potentially support, right? There it is. Now, what do we do here on the test? Either, and this is our support, and down here, this seller was absorbed. So I have volume here, resistance is here. Targets are above. And like everything it can fail. So where's your stop? Well, your stop can go under here or under here, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. Now remember, these are not trades. I'm always saying. But when you're vetting a trade, you need to understand behavior. And the behavior currently is we're looking at this and above. So there's a few ways you can do this. If this is the location for a long, and remember, it can dip under. Very important you listen. Because this is what sets it up. Now, it could just come here, of course, but the dip, why? Because the sellers were here, the sellers were there, the sellers absorbed, and I broke above it. Think Pac-Man. If I come back to a location, Pac-Man, and the sellers here got run over, and the buyers absorb this seller, if I come back again, is it logical to you that the buyers here, were here, in this area, would see this as a bargain and maybe buy again? Passive. And where else is my passive side? They tend to be over here. So now I don't micromanage my trades. I stay a little further away because I know that, for example, the buyers are in control here, and it was pretty much from here. So if I take a trade here, my stop is going to be out here. And I take a stop if I took this trade, right? Let's look. That's why I don't call trades, and this is more about market mechanics. So this is too high. This is where the long would be. You have to clear this. Didn't do it. Your buyers now are under here, and now the sellers have taken control right here anyway. So then we have to go back and look, and we're falling out of this distribution. So this trade would be done for now. Then our next area to observe is going to be this and this. So let's see what it does. And this. So there's nothing going on here. Anyway, I hope you're getting something out of this. You have to follow your trade plan. You will take stops. You can't avoid it in this business. Casinos can't avoid paying the gamblers. We still have upside targets. Now, the thing to be aware of is the fuel is there and there, the buy stops. Now, if we can't gain any traction above this, we can mean revert, of course. We still have a target there, which is this outside edge. See, this is the outside edge of a distribution. Up in here, which creates the low volume, there tends to be fuel, or it's a target. The high volume is acting like a volume point of control. In other words, retail price in this. If I get above here, I've got this. That's what I know. And doesn't have to do any of it. So that's why whenever you're taking trades, it's always maybe, and you got to manage your trade, and you're going to take stops. So you got to pay to play. Casinos pay to gamblers. Anyway, that's all I can tell you about it. I take stops, or everybody in Trader Lab takes stops. You're going to take stops no matter what you do. So it takes a different viewpoint, I think, how you experience stops, other than how you feel about it, which we all feel the same because of our wiring. But in the end, notice where we came here. Resistance is going to be here. This is your retail price in a developing daily time frame. This is resistance. This is resistance. No way to know. Okay? So there's nothing you can do about this. This now is resistance. So it is what it is. Final comments and questions, and I hope you got something added today. Please give a like. And remember, if you're interested, if you are a subscriber to Bookmap, there is a 50% off the first month going on right now. You might want to take advantage of that. Also, if you're interested in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community, there's 60 PDFs you can download of these structured trades, so you can reverse engineer them. See how this works over a large sample size. These are live trades I took many years ago. This is 2020. I'm not a vendor. There's no cost for this. You can download these 60 PDFs of structured trades. There's a number of elements in here. You can extract what you're interested in. Come to Trader Lab. It's a serious community of like-minded traders. It's not romper room. It's about the business of trading. Also, there's a library of webinars, rather extensive library. It's exclusive to Bookmap Discord Trader Lab participants, as are these streams, as well as the Trader Lab community. Our senior trader has over 50 years trading experience. For me, 45, both professionally and otherwise. And together we leverage our experience to collectively do better. Thank you so much for visiting Trader Lab today. Fortunately, the stream held up. I am streaming from Costa Rica. Trader Lab, if you guys want to review this, feel free. I'm going to post a link there in YouTube for you. If you have specific questions for me, remember you can reach out to me. If you're in Trader Lab, that's available exclusively to you. I'll do my best to get back to you. That's also exclusive for Bookmap Discord Trader Lab participants. I do offer, to help anybody who's interested in helping themselves. Thanks so much, guys, for visiting Trader Lab. If you're on your way out in YouTube, don't forget there is a special 12 trading tips going on. There is a link in YouTube. You can access that. It's exclusively in the Bookmap Discord server. I have one that's available today, and it is the opening trade. It is a specific deep dive into trading the open, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. Use the link in the bottom of YouTube if you want to visit Trader Lab. And again, there's no cost. I'd look forward to meeting you. Thanks so much, guys. Don't forget the thumb up, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. And if you're new, meeting you in the Trader Lab.